Hey everyone, welcome back to Financial Education Sucks podcast. I am your host, Grant Raskin, and today we have a very good friend of mine and personal realtor, Mrs. Stephanie Krawulski with Compass Realty. Steph, how are you?
Good, good. Thanks for having me.
Nah, no
Long
problem.
awaited. I've been anxious
Yeah.
for your show and your podcast.
Yeah, hey, listen, I always said when I started the podcast, listen, it's about educating people, right? In the world of finance. And I think finance encompasses such a large space. So
Yeah,
as you know, right, financial planning we've talked about. We've had credit, we've had mortgage, and I'm like, hey, I need my realtor. So I'm really happy you're on here. I thank you for your time today. I'm excited to learn more about you, your business.
yeah,
Uh,
definitely.
Give us some outlook on what the heck's going on in this world right now,
Yeah,
in the real estate market. So again, thank you. I really do appreciate you being on today. Um, Steph, I like to ask everybody to get started. Tell us about your background. What do you
sure.
do? Where you from?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm born and raised in the Northeast, Philadelphia. I started out in the dental field. I was working for a dentist for 12 years. He ended up passing away. Prior to that, I got my real estate license solely based on just finding a house to live in for me and my husband. We were working with a realtor at the time, and we weren't finding what we were looking for. And it's, no fault of the realtor that we were working with, but I think I just wanted like easier access to the houses to get into them quicker. So I just thought if I got my license, I could just show or go see the house whenever I wanted. So it literally just took off from there. So I've been licensed now for almost 10 years. So my full-time job, and I'm happy that, it all worked out that way.
Yeah, no, listen, that's great, right? Like, I love the passion of just being like, hey, I want the keys to the door, right? I don't want to have to wait for
Exactly,
anybody.
It was awesome. Like it was, so it was just such a great, feeling being able to like buy my own house too. Like just me representing, myself and my husband. So.
Yeah, and I think that's a big thing, right? Like I tell people all the time, I tell clients, most people, right, a large percentage of people in this country, the largest asset, the largest purchase they're ever going to make is their home. And I know it's a big thing for people. I think a lot of people just are like, oh, I'm going to buy a home and I'll find something that's out there. And
Yeah,
listen, the world's changed, right? I mean, the real estate market is completely flipped. You had helped me with with a little townhouse at first, then we moved up, and even though I don't want to, I think the missus is screaming for a new place, but we'll talk about that later and offline. But you've always said like you enjoy. I hear a lot of real estate agents say, "Oh, I enjoy working with first time home buyers," and they have different things. But I know that for yourself, yes, you will work with first time home buyers, and I think from personal experience, like you do a great job of just educating the client along the way. But even those retirees or people who are looking to downsize, like, is there a specific area? I know you obviously live in Doylestown now. Do you kind of focus the practice primarily in Doylestown? Will you branch out to Bucks, Monco? Like, where do you
Oh
primarily?
yeah, for sure. Wherever the client's looking, as long as it's within my, region of where I'm able to pull properties, my MLS, right? So yeah, I'll go anywhere, definitely. And if people are looking in New Jersey, I'll send them a great referral agent. I've sold homes in the Poconos. So I'm definitely, just wherever the business goes, I'll go.
Kind of how that's awesome. I think it's important, right? Because so many people are focused in one area where it's like, hey, and we've had this conversation before, the surrounding markets, right? Like what's going on, what's happening. The school districts, I think, are really
Yeah.
important to people like us with kids, and where's my kid going to grow up, and make sure they're placed in the right spot. So Steph, from what I know, it's you guys have formed sort of like an all women team over at Compass. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, sure. So there's 5 of us. We're all seasoned agents together. There's a combined, like 50 plus years of experience.
Nice.
We all work. Um, I would say it like with this. We all. I'm trying to think of like how to. We all like service I guess, the region. Like we're not like specific of like where we work. It's more so, wherever the business comes, we'll service.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, so hold on here. Let me just make a note. 'Cause I'll have them just clean it up. No problem.
okay.
All right. So, all right. So I'm just going to hop back into it, just so you know. All right. So Steph, with you and the team that you're working on, are you guys sort of all out there, working with different clients, or do you each sort of have a specific role inside of the team?
Yeah.
And how does that kind of work to your benefit?
Yeah, no, we all have our own clients. We certainly will help each other out if someone needs, a showing, if one of us are on vacation, if one of us needs something docu-signed, or if someone needs help doing a marketing piece. We all work together as really just like one person with helping in each transaction. So it really helps us work more like efficient, and it frees up just time to go service, more clients and whatnot.
Yeah, listen, I mean, you have to have the support, right? I say it all the time to people. I think one of the most important things about business is just having the right people in place.
Yeah, definitely.
And when you can find good people to help grow your business, and you guys can do it in tandem, I think it's a huge hurdle. So, all right, so I got to ask the question about the current state of the market, right? Yeah. With interest rates, obviously 6.5% to 7% right now. My personal belief is I don't think they're going to go down. I think we're going to kind of see it stabilize around there.
Right.
I am no expert in that. At first, there was a ton of homes available. Then there's no homes available. Then there are homes. What does the market in Bucks and Montgomery County look like now? Give us your review and your opinion on things.
Yeah, we're definitely still in a seller, like a hot seller's market for sure. Super, there's not much inventory whatsoever. I would say Bucks, Montgomery, very similar. Philadelphia, there's surely more inventory. And that's how it's always been, there's just more houses in Philadelphia. So it's just, the Bucks, Montgomery County, even like Delaware County, Chester County, Berks County, like you'll see there's just really like scarce inventory. So, I'm sure, if whenever you come face to face with a realtor, it's, I feel like we're, more so not like pushing for someone to sell their house, but it's just, we have all these buyers that, there's just nothing to put them in right now. So,
yeah, no, it's just a weird market. We've talked about it before, just about, home prices and what they're doing right now. I mean, what do you see in Bucks County and in our area, sort of where does that like medium home price fall nowadays? I mean, if you're looking to come up to that central Bucks kind of areas, because I know a lot of our listeners are from that way, where's average houses looking at now?
Yeah, so median sales price right now we'll pull like the month prior. So we're in March. So the median sales price for February for Bucks County, we're like a 560. Montgomery County, that's about the same too. Now that's not to say like that's what the houses, all houses will sell.
Right.
People get that confused.
Just the average. Yeah.
So the median sales price. Philadelphia is like within like the high threes. Chester and Delaware County are around like, the high fours, mid fours and whatnot. So, but the list price and sale price in Bucks and Montgomery County, they're, obviously higher. I haven't checked this month yet to go back to I usually, when March 1st comes around, that's when I'll pull all of my like market statistic reports. So I'll post something about the prior month of, February. So we were probably at like an $800,000 price range for like the list price for Bucks. And then something similar to Montgomery County as well. Like average list price, average, sold price. But the median sales price, I would say, like, is the high fives for both. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, Steph, I know when we bought our house, right, Allie and I, just because of the market the way it was, we actually went in over asking, right, and we had the benefit of, I know a lot of folks, obviously, so I was able to call in some of my friends to come in and kind of check the house out, so we were able to kind of waive inspection and things of that nature. Do you still see that happening? Are offers coming in over ask at this point? And
definitely. Yeah, so it's I would say 80% of the homes right now are still going for over asking price. The ones that you do see that are sitting a little bit longer than the average days on market, which is, like 4 to 7 days, right? Not like every county. So right now, like Bucks County, like the average days on market is like 28 days. But again, that's just an average. But really, once a house gets listed, a lot of consumers, I'm sure you'll see this, like after 4 days, it goes pending or it's under contract. So that tells me that there was probably multiple offers and multiple bids on the property because of how quickly it went. And a lot of times, like, we can gauge, that days on market to really tell us, how to proceed with an offer. So it's very important to like list your house at the price, so it's not collecting all of those days on market. But yeah, the house that you're living in right now, it was, if I recall, there were like 9 offers. The same goes for your neighbor, which the house that I sold next to, we had like 12 offers. So you're definitely in a hot neighborhood. So once you list your house and I get to,
I gotta make sure we cut this part out for Allie. I can't have her listen to this. No, but that's interesting. So we obviously have a very good mutual friend of ours, Tony, who was on here, right? And Tony always talks about, buy the home, don't buy the rate, right? Because you can always refinance.
Right.
But when it comes to mortgages, are you finding that the offers that you're submitting for a client, is it the cash offers that are getting a deal done? Is it the waiving of inspection? I mean, obviously you're saying it's sort of a combination, but is there certain key points that you can say, hey, if you guys are looking to, purchase a home, this is really what buyers are looking for? Are there a few things that stand out to you at this point?
So when submitting an offer, everything has to align perfectly. It's not always just based on the price. I would say that's, obviously a huge, big, important factor, but a lot of the terms and conditions are, also important and can sometimes, be the, the needle, which gets your offer accepted are the terms and conditions. So, as far as a cash offer, cash is king, but it's not always, what's going to get your offer accepted. And I've seen it very, very often to where, I have a listing and then I have an agent telling me, we're going to submit an offer and it's all cash, but it doesn't really mean anything until you have it on paper and you see what the offer,
Sure.
what they're offering and again, their terms and conditions. So, but to answer your question, I would say yes. We're surely seeing inspections being waived, the seller side transfer tax being paid, which is a huge one. That can sometimes take your offer to like the next level. If I always tell buyers, if we've submitted 3 offers, right, and all 3 of those offers have gotten declined with 3 different properties, the next step to take is let's try and offer to pay the seller transfer tax. That again can just take it up, and a lot of times it's a big win for the buyer.
Right. So it's another arrow in your quiver. And really quick, just because some of our listeners may not know, can you explain exactly what the buyer would, when they cover the transfer tax, exactly what that means?
Yeah. So it's dependent on what, like where you live. So for instance, for example, Bucks County is 1% transfer tax. So it's 1% of the list of the house price, basically. Okay. So you're paying your own side as transfer tax as a buyer. So you're now offering to pay the seller side transfer tax. So what that does is it just nets the seller more money. And it's all about the net. It's always all about the net.
What am I walking away with? That's what everyone's
you're walking away with. You can send your love letter, and that, look, I've had that happen. I've had buyers win offers because of letters, because of just like nice gestures that they've done, but it really always comes down to the net. So it's, making sure that you're working with an experienced agent that knows how to really structure the offer, a winning offer. So, and there's a lot to it. It's not just the price. It's not just the seller transfer tax. It's the down payment. It's,
all the factors.
All the
factors that come in.
The less contingencies you can have, the higher you'll get, on the scale of.
No, yeah, you want to get as high up in that pecking order as possible, right?
Yeah, pecking order, exactly, yeah.
All right, so Steph, a question you and I have talked about a lot in just our everyday lives, but new construction versus pre-owned, I'll say. It's probably not the right word, but
Yeah.
what are kind of your thoughts on building new versus, buying that home that was built in the 70s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s?
Right, exactly. Yeah, it just comes down to preference. Some people don't want residential resale. They're really only targeting like the new construction homes.
Yep.
As far as like quality, I really can't like touch on that as far as, like what was better, like, what
I think we all know what was better because the stuff built nowadays is a little.
Yeah, but I guess, as from working with a buyer, not knowing which, way to go, whether or not like looking at residential resale or new construction, it really comes down to, location, timing, their finances. So for instance, to give you an example, I guess, new construction, it's not available like right away as far as these, as something residential resale wise, right? So, if you have the time to wait like 18 months, then, new construction could work for you. Again, I also like to remind buyers too that anything built after like 2000, from living in an older house myself, I would consider like newer construction. So, if the house, from a scale from 1 to 10, if the house hits at a 7, why not? Like it could work, it surely could work, and you could make it like new construction. Obviously the price is a huge factor, getting it at the right price. But I think they're both great options. It really just comes down to preference. Another thing I always like to remind people too is that, new construction can sometimes feel like a little sterile, like when you're moving into the neighborhood, right? Like, there's really no mature trees. There still could be construction going on in the neighborhood. So you have to be comfortable with that. I feel like a lot of times people get like hypnotized by like all the like new flashy things, like, oh, like look at all this stuff in the new construction, but then they often forget that, you're moving into a neighborhood where there's still construction going on.
Yeah.
There's, again, to bring up.
I lived through it. I know exactly what it's like to. You don't have mature trees. You don't have, like you said, the bulldozers parked down the street from you.
Right, exactly. So, but people are okay with it. So I like both. Really, I think both are fabulous options. It's just, it really comes down to the location, and like being like, if you're looking for that specific neighborhood to get into, you're like, it's new construction may not be ideal, but some people love it and won't look at anything else but new construction. So
and I appreciate that, right? And you've literally given me the same answer the 35 times I probably called you and bothered you about it.
Yeah.
But something I get asked here a lot as a financial advisor. Clients sitting here and we're having conversations and they say, hey, listen, I'm looking to upgrade my bathroom, my kitchen. We want to add a deck. Do you find that they really, if someone's putting out 100,000 for, a new kitchen or even more, or maybe a little less, do you find that people are getting the value back, and where in the home, what improvements can someone do who's looking to sell?
Right. It's pretty,
back. Yeah.
I actually just read something about this, and the number one, the biggest return on investment, which it's hard to believe, but I guess it could make sense in many factors, is the garage door. It's someone's garage door. Yeah. I'm thinking at it as like more so like a curb appeal, something like very appealing, something
that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was the garage door. I don't know how like like validation like has behind it. Like, is that true? But it came from a very like reputable source. So I would say that was number one, was the garage door. And really, when I go on listing appointments, I always walk through the house with my, notepad, and I take notes, and I listen to, what people believe they think is going to add, just really give them the biggest return on an investment. And oftentimes it's what you just said, is that, is it big projects like we're doing the kitchen, the bathroom, and it's really not. It's the small projects that we do it. And when I say small, I mean like silly small, like updating light fixtures, changing out light bulbs to just create make rooms just appear larger or brighter. It's, if you have, countertops that, definitely are worn down. I would sometimes suggest, swapping out countertops, but it's not doing major like renovations for sure. Curb appeal is one of the biggest things. I mean, if you just like $3,000 can go a long way, in adding just curb appeal to the front of your house. But yeah, it's, you really listing your house, you really need to talk to someone before doing any type of project, before just dumping thousands of dollars in what you think is going to update your house. It's not going to update your house really, because if you have, updated bathrooms, right? Like two small updated bathrooms, but then your kitchen's from like the 1920s. Now you just dumped all your money in the bathrooms when, I mean, ideally people want new, like in this
Sure.
age, especially like, first time home buyers. I mean, and people just don't have time to like update their homes anymore. So when they're purchasing for like a premium price, a lot of times I'm seeing buyers want brand new, or like everything just clean. So instead of dumping all of your money into the two bathrooms, why don't we make small changes in the bathroom so we have extra money to put into the kitchen and into the landscaping? So we're doing all of it and spending the same amount we would have spent into those two bathrooms.
Yeah, listen, that's a great idea. And I think you're absolutely right. A lot of people just try to dump, a lot of money. And I saw it when I was looking for homes, right? Like the kitchen's beautiful.
Right.
And then the bathrooms are, like you said, from 1920.
Bathrooms and the roof's like collapsing and there's the fence is broken. I mean, it's
but the kitchen looks nice.
It looks nice. And again, it just, I'm not going to say that, someone's going to buy that house, right? Like every brick is laid, someone's going to fall in love with that kitchen and just be like, this is my house. But, did that person have to spend that much money? If they were doing the kitchen to sell their house, like probably not. Like, yeah. So it's really the small fixes that go such a long way for sure.
No, that's, and Steph, I appreciate that's awesome. You've definitely shared some great information with us. So, sort of as someone who's been in the industry a long time, I'm sure there's, so many tips and tricks and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to selling a home, and I'm going to ask you the same question when it comes to buying a home. So get ready. When it comes to selling a home, can you give us like the top 2, maybe 3 things that you can do just across the board? Like you keep on going back to curb appeal, right? Or the garage door, right? I've never heard that, which is very interesting to me, but makes a lot of sense. How important are there, like, if you could give me 2 things, what would they be? I'm assuming one's going to be the curb appeal, right?
When my 3 things, I mean, this is what and they work. I swear to God, they work. And I think, I can just, for your neighbor's house that I ended up selling, like these, and they did it so perfectly. And that's why, it was proof, right? That
proof in the pudding right now. Exactly. You sold it.
So it's cleaning your house to where, and I tell people, like, you could eat your meal off the floor. Like, you want your house so stinking clean. Yeah, and I like, attention to the grout in your bathtub, like just no signs of, that the house wasn't well cared for. Buyers want to know that the house was well cared for, that the house was loved, that, you took pride in ownership. So cleaning is the number 1 thing.
Okay.
And
I like it.
Yeah. And and I tell, like, bring in a cleaning service, or, just take the day to just clean everything. Decluttering, number 2 would be staging. Not everyone can afford, like, I come in, like the service that I provide, I come in and I'll utilize what you have to stage the home. I'll move furniture around. I'll, take things out of rooms while pictures are being done. But staging falls also like the depersonalizing your house, taking pictures off the walls, putting things away. And again, like, it's only temporary, right? Really, for the pictures and for people, for the appointments being made, but just really making it look like no one lives in the house. I know it's hard to do that, especially when you have kids and animals, and it's so challenging for people that have those 2 things, kids, animals, they both work full time. But again, like, that's why, when you hire me, at least, like, I try to make it as easy as possible. I'm not making you do like crazy, outrageous things. It's small things, but really it goes such a long way. And then the curb appeal. again, if this doesn't fall in line with like your budget of, spending maybe like $1,000 or $3,000, it's, just mowing your grass, mulching, creating like clean edges, putting some flower pots outside, maybe some hanging baskets. I mean, it just really makes a huge difference. You want to reel those, the traffic in and the buyers in, and just create like a warm setting. So.
Yeah, listen, I can say as someone who's bought, 2 houses in the last few years, when you pull up, like it's the first thing you see, right?
Yeah.
So we put up to many homes, and I was like, let's just keep going.
No, yeah, it's
because like you said, it's the curb appeal, which is huge. So that's on the selling side.
Yeah.
Right. How about for our buyers out there?
So buyers, yep. First 3 things. Number 1 is the lender, meeting with a lender, helping, the lender is going to help you determine how much you can afford, and what type of loan you can use too. I mean, that's number 1. The most important thing is like what type of financing you'll be using. Sure. And then at that point, they'll issue a pre-approval.
Yep.
And that, like, meeting with an agent, having the agent understand your wants and needs. I like to do either like a Zoom meeting or meet face to face. And I never used to do that before. Like, I actually just started doing this like within the last like 2 years, because it really just creates like that relationship and like the rapport up front.
Absolutely. The most important thing is the relationship.
And it helps keep the buyer too. Like, it helps just, let them know that I'm a real person, that I'm not just like sending them properties and they have no idea who I am. Right. And, that doesn't always work for people. So, a phone call can suffice, but, first is pre-approval. Second is meeting with the agent, whether it's like Zoom, in person, or a phone call if need be. And then, having me understanding what that buyer is looking for specifically.
So no, I mean, Steph, that's great. I think that there are definitely 3 major points that you can kind of pull out for us, and have someone, either they're the seller, whether the buyer, just get this stuff in order first. And obviously, give Steph a call to reach out, and she can help you.
Thanks, Grant.
No, absolutely. You've been a tremendous resource for me and my clients, and I really thank you. So with that, Steph, I really appreciate you being on here today. It means a lot to me. It means a lot to everybody over at Financial Education Sucks, doing what we can to provide knowledge and education out there in the real world. To our viewers, thank you again for being on today, for listening. Guys, if you need anything regarding your real estate needs, if you're buying a home, if you're selling a home, please do not hesitate to reach out to Stephanie. She's a tremendous person, a great resource, and someone who I'm happy to call a friend. With that, thank you again for being here today. Please like, subscribe, follow, do all those other fun things you're supposed to do on social media to get our rankings up there. I thank you guys all again, and I wish you a wonderful day.
Awesome. Yeah. Bye.
Bye.